Imagine spending $30 million on a luxury villa, and then 5 years later, you watch the sand beneath your home literally sink into the sea. You pour champagne, you post the photos, and then 5 years later, you watch the sand beneath your home literally sink into the sea. That is not a metaphor. That is Palm Jumeirah. And what is happening there right now is something the Dubai government does not want you to know about. Here is the number that should stop you cold. As of 2024, over 40% of the original Palm Jumeirah villas are either abandoned, in severe financial distress, or sitting empty for months at a time. In a place built to be the most glamorous address on earth, in a place that was sold to the world as the eighth wonder of the modern world, in a place where a single square foot of beachfront property was once traded for prices that made Manhattan look affordable. Empty. Silent. Sinking. And the billionaires who bought in. Many of them are quietly trying to get out, discreetly, without headlines. Because the moment the headlines hit, the entire illusion collapses. So what actually happened to the most ambitious real estate project in human history? How did an island built from nothing, sold to everyone, become one of the world's most spectacular slow-motion financial disasters? And more importantly, is this just about Dubai? Or is this a warning sign for every artificially inflated luxury market on the planet? Stay with me. Because the story of Palm Jumeirah is not just about sand and sea. It is about hubris, deception, geopolitics, climate science, and the terrifying fragility of wealth. Built on nothing but ambition and borrowed time. This is the real story. And it is far darker than you think. To understand how far Palm Jumeirah has fallen, you first need to understand exactly how high it flew. Cast your mind back to 2001. The world is reeling from the September 11th attacks. Global confidence is shattered. Tourism is collapsing. And in the middle of the Arabian desert, one man looks out at 60 kilometers of Dubai coastline and says, "That is not enough." That man was Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. And his idea was so insane, so breathtakingly audacious, that when his engineers first heard it, some of them genuinely thought it was a joke. Build an island. Shape it like a palm tree. In the middle of the sea. From scratch. Not a small island. Not a modest development. A palm tree 16 kilometers wide, with a trunk, 17 fronds, and a surrounding crescent breakwater. Reclaiming kilometers of beachfront from the Persian Gulf using nothing but sand dredged from the seabed. Creating space for over 5,000 villas, dozens of luxury hotels, marinas, shopping centers, and a resident population of tens of thousands. The project would cost an estimated $12 billion. It would use enough sand and rock to circle the Earth multiple times. It would be visible from space. And it would be built in just 4 years. When the first phase was announced in 2001, the world didn't just take notice. The world went insane. Within 24 hours of the first sales launch in 2002, every single unit sold out, before a single grain of sand had been placed. Before there was even a physical structure to stand on, people were buying land that existed only on paper. Based entirely on the word of a royal family, and a dream. And those people made fortunes. By 2005, Palm Jumeirah properties had appreciated by over 200%. A villa bought off-plan for $1 million was reselling for $3 million before construction was even complete. Investors from London, Moscow, Mumbai, and New York were flying into Dubai specifically to flip Palm units. Waiting lists stretched for years. Celebrities followed the money. David Beckham bought a villa. Michael Schumacher bought a villa. Rod Stewart. Tiger Woods. The Palm became the world's most exclusive address in just 3 years. Hotels piled on one after another. The Atlantis The Palm opened in 2008 with a launch party so extravagant it cost $20 million in a single night. Fireworks lit the sky for miles. The guest list read like a global power index. It was broadcast in 130 countries. By 2008, Dubai's real estate market was the fastest growing in human history. Palm Jumeirah alone had generated over $40 billion in real estate transactions. The island that didn't exist in 2001 was now worth more than the GDP of many nations. This wasn't just a real estate project. It was a statement. A declaration that human ambition had no limits. That money could reshape geography itself. That the future belonged to whoever dared to dream the biggest. And then, everything stopped. On September 15, 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed in the largest bankruptcy in U.S. history. And within weeks, the shockwave hit Dubai. The money stopped. Foreign investors disappeared. Loans froze. Construction halted. Cranes stopped moving. Between 2008 and 2010, Dubai property values fell by 60%. Not 10%. Not 20%. 60%. In less than 2 years. Palm villas that once sold for $3 million struggled to find buyers at barely over $1 million. And then people started noticing something else. Something nobody wanted to talk about while the money was flowing. The island was sinking. Studies using satellite radar confirmed it. Parts of Palm Jumeirah were subsiding, slowly, relentlessly, settling into the seabed. Millimeters per year. But over decades, that becomes something much bigger. The sand wasn't solid rock. It was loose. Porous. Vulnerable. Subject to erosion. Subject to pressure. Subject to gravity. And the breakwater wasn't performing perfectly. Water circulation slowed. Stagnation increased. Algae bloomed. Marine ecosystems declined. The fairy tale cracked. But the physical problems were only the surface. The deeper threat? Climate change. The Persian Gulf is warming rapidly. Sea levels are rising. And according to projections from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, sea levels in the region could rise dramatically by 2100. Now remember this. Large parts of Palm Jumeirah sit barely above sea level. That means rising seas plus stronger storms equals increasing flood risk. Not someday. Within decades. And this is where things become financial. Insurance companies are already reacting. Some are raising prices. Some are pulling back entirely. And when a property becomes uninsurable, it becomes unmortgageable. And when it becomes unmortgageable, it becomes very difficult to sell. Suddenly, the buyer pool shrinks. Risk increases. Liquidity disappears. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The risks were never fully priced in. The dream was sold first. The reality is arriving later. And the cost? That will likely fall on property owners and public systems, not the developers who profited most. That will likely fall on property owners and public systems, not the developers who profited most. So where does this leave Palm Jumeirah? It won't disappear overnight. Dubai has the money, the engineering, and the will to defend it. But the real question is not whether it can be saved. The question is, at what cost? And who pays? Because the ultra-luxury segment will survive. The top-tier villas. The elite buyers. They can absorb risk. But the middle layer of the market? That's where pressure is building. Vacancies. Rising costs. Quiet exits. And Dubai will likely do what it always does. Build bigger. Market harder. Push forward. Projects like Palm Jebel Ali are already being revived. Because the narrative never stops. But the sand is still shifting. The sea is still rising. And physics doesn't respond to marketing. So here's the question. If one of the richest, most advanced cities in the world struggles to defend its most iconic project, what does that mean for every other coastal city on Earth? Palm Jumeirah isn't just a story about Dubai. It's a preview. A warning. A collision between human ambition and planetary limits.